Alright, y'all, so I'm back and I've already done all that section. We're doing color correction. We are going silver. So I want to just come and show you guys my application. I did do everything else but the sides, just so I can have the sides to show you how I apply. And this is going to go on like a virgin application, because she hasn't had her hair bleached and she hasn't had it colored in over a year. So her roots are no longer roots. It's pretty much the entire head. The ends do have a little bit of blonde, so I will pull the bleach through the ends at the end once I have gotten everything light. Like I said, she is going silver, so we are taking the hair pretty high, which is around like a 10, not even a 9, because the tones won't go for a 9. I'm just doing my applications. Like I said, this is the last part of the mid shaft application, and then I'll do the roots probably in like 30 minutes or so. The back is heating up pretty well, because the back is always the first thing that you do. Just so you guys can see what I'm doing. The bleach that I love to use is the Blonde Brilliance. Love that bleach. It allows me to take the hair 9 levels. It says 9, but just depending on how you apply and how you time it, it can take it to a 10, depending on the hair that your client is coming from. So you see how we got the ends out. We're going to push the ends to the side, because those are going to process after. Fold up, and then we're going to go to the next thing. I do like foils. Foils help me a lot, only because they provide the heat. So if you don't foil your bleaches, I mean, I suggest that you do, but I know people that use cotton, and I'm actually going to use cotton for her roots. I also I actually choose to base my clients before I apply the bleach on them. I know base is normally used for relaxer, but I feel like this is just as caustic as relaxer, and I've had a lot of times where my clients end up burning when I do the on scalp application, and if they burn throughout the process, you cannot complete the process the way you need to complete the process. You see the ends that are colored, they will be sticking out. They will not be inside of the bleach. You want to just make sure you got it real lathered up. Don't be scared of it. It's just bleach. It's not going to kill you. So you want to make sure you got it real good. A lot of bleach on the hair, very saturated, and make sure that you always lift up the subsection that you're doing. The reason why you're going to wait until when the hair is all like yellow to put the bleach on the ends is because if I put the bleach on the ends right now, what's going to happen is the ends already have had bleach a year ago. And even though you think, oh, a year ago, that's not long. Yeah, you think that's a long time. It's a long time, but it's not a long time. It's not a long time when it comes to the hair, because once the hair is bleached, that's it. There is no, oh, it's been 6 months. That means nothing. The hair's already been bleached, and there's nothing you can do about it at this point. So that's why you want to make sure that you're very careful when you're doing a virgin hair for the mid shaft and have processed ends. Because if you apply the bleach on the ends, the bleach will eat the ends up, because it's already been processed, and you're processing it for the same amount of time that you're processing virgin hair, which is all of it. All this is virgin hair. So you're going to process the virgin hair for an hour, but you're not going to process the ends for an hour, because the ends have already been processed for an hour a year ago. Sometimes, depending on the severity of my color correction, if my color correction is so severe, then yes, I will go ahead and bring the bleach down to the ends. Like if you have like a head full of highlights, I'm not gonna weave everything out to get it. So everything's just gonna get bleach on it. So with that being said, it will just be a full bleach out that you'll get, and probably get your ends clipped, just so that way the damage won't be, too much. I do want people to understand that bleach is damaging, and that's what it does. That's the job of bleach. The job is to damage. It's to get rid of all the pigment in your hair. And if you get rid of pigment, which is making a lot of the strength of your hair, then you don't have much left. So Like I said, if you're applying bleach, being a stylist, or whether you're doing it at home yourself, the suggestion is always to lift the hair up once you apply bleach on one side, because sometimes you'll miss those spots, and then when it's time to stretch everything out, you realize, oh shit, there's black. And that's like the worst thing you could ever do, honestly. And I'm talking from experience. So I am finishing up her last quadrant. Once I get done with this quadrant, normally you're supposed to allow the bleach to sit about 30 minutes, 30 to 45 minutes before you even touch the foils. But because her hair is virgin, and it took me almost 45, maybe 30 minutes to just apply the foils, I'm gonna go ahead and check her back, and if I like the way her back looks, I'm gonna stretch it. Just because I like the way her back looks does not mean it's ready, okay? To be silver, bleach has to be on your hair for the minimum an hour, like the minimum. It can't be anything less than an hour, and honestly, sometimes it's even more than an hour. Sometimes people's hair is so dark to where when they get their hair bleached once, they gotta rinse it out and redo it again. So that's why I like the bleach that I have, because the bleach that I have does allow me to break through a lot of artificial color, and it also allows me to break through a lot of things. Like I put base on her scalp, and of course some of the base entered her hair, but it's okay because the bleach is going to eat it up. But the bleach is still going to sit on the scalp and protect the scalp from the bleach not eating on the scalp. I don't know if that makes sense, but if it do, cool. If it don't, I don't know. So, like I said, I'm foiling her last foils for her side before I go to the back, so you guys can see how yellow the back is. The main objective is to get a pale yellow. A pale yellow is pretty much like the inside of a banana peel. You want the hair to be that yellow. You do not want it to be dark yellow. Dark yellow, silver will not take, and it will make your hair green. So you want to make it as light as possible. If you think that it's ready, it's always best to let it sit 30 more minutes. You know, the developer that I use a 20 developer, and the 20 developer, because it's virgin hair, it's not going to eat up her hair. So I'm not going to say no matter how long you leave it on, because you really don't want to leave bleach on no longer than an hour and 30. That's kind of too long, but you don't want to leave it on no longer than an hour and 30. So with that being said, I forgot what I was saying, but it don't matter what I was saying. Y'all know what I'm talking about. So yeah, just make sure that you put the bleach on, and make sure that you do nice sections. Make sure that you get every strand, because once this bleach starts processing and it starts destroying color, there's nothing that you can do at that point if you see that you have black spots. You'll have to just go over with bleach again once everything is rinsed out and colored, because now you can't allow for your mistake in the front to cost you what's going on in the back. Because the back is still processing, the back is still ready. If you leave the bleach on any longer in the back, you could get breakage, and if not breakage, you definitely will get dryness. So I do suggest that you get a professional to do it. I don't suggest that you do it on your own. I don't suggest cheap bleach. I do not suggest any of that cheap bleach. I do suggest that you get a professional brand bleach, and that's because they have all types of silicones and all types of oils just to keep the strength of your hair while it's being bleached. Because you guys don't understand what bleach does. Bleach is pretty much like a robber coming in your house and stealing all your shit. You know, your hair is your house, and your color is your shit. So it just makes your hair much weaker if you don't take care of it. Which is why we use Olaplex, which is why we do the treatments, which is why we do protein, which is why we tell you guys to come in as much as often. So I'm going to end the video as soon as I get done applying it and get to show you guys how light her back is getting so far. Now that all my foils are almost done, I'm now going to let everything sit. I'm now going to let everything sit on its own. So what that means is each quadrant has sat in their own time, because I started right here first. So this has been, which is the left. I started on the left back side first. So that is going to be the one that is actually lighter. So what that means is after I go through everything and I pull everything through, then before I apply the roots, I'm going to allow everything to sit at the same time. So that's how you do color correction when you apply the bleach, because it's kind of impossible to have everything even when it comes to the application unless you have 4 to 5 people helping you with the application. I don't. I'm applying everything on my own. So it's impossible for me to make sure that everything is applied the same time. Like, that's just so impossible. So the way I do it is, you know, bleach is not done until you rinse it out. So what I do is after I apply all my lightener all over the hair, minus the roots, because the roots are closer to the scalp, so you wait to put those on until like the last, you know, 15, 20 minutes possibly. I'll probably do 20 minutes just to give the roots just that extra lightness. But once I stretch everything out, which is what I'm about to show you, because I know you guys probably trying to figure out what the hell is stretching, because I know it's not a relaxer, so you don't stretch it like a relaxer. But I'm going to show you guys what I mean by stretching. So this is my last section, and I'm going to go ahead and split this in two. I'm going to use the last foil under me as my surface to apply my bleach. And I'm going to go a little bit, a ½ inch off of the scalp. As doing this, don't try to be too specific with the ½ inch. You don't have to really count the inches. You just got to make sure you don't put the bleach exactly on the scalp. If the bleach don't go on the scalp, then honestly, you could be 3/4 of an inch. It doesn't really make a difference. Just don't put the bleach on the scalp, because then you'll have a mess. A mess. Believe me, it will be a mess. So, like I said, we're going to mist those ends. Any dark pieces that I see in these ends are going to get the bleach. And if it just so happens that the pieces that are lighter get the bleach, then that's just the risk that you take doing color correction. So this is my last section, and I'm going to apply this bleach and then turn her around to the back so you guys can see how I stretch it. Like I said, her roots are not done. This is the first process of the Blonde Brilliance lightener. This is the first process. And then after this process sits for 30 minutes to 45 minutes, then we will go in with the process of lightening the ends. So now I get to show you guys what I mean by stretching. So if you can see, it has started to lift. See that? See that lift? It started to lift. So now we're gonna go and we're just gonna pretty much make sure it's all even. And just make sure that it's all even. And you know, eliminate some of these foils, because all these foils are not necessary. And she is getting exactly where I want her to be. So I'm gonna take the foils off of the back ones, because she doesn't need to get any more lighter for this. Look at that. You guys see that? That's a perfect color. But I'm not going to rinse the bleach out, you guys, just because I'm stretching. This is what I call stretching. This is what I'm stretching. I'm making sure that every strand besides the scalp has the lightener. And you see all that, I'm going to put lightener on. But I want to put all the lightener together. Okay, you see how I'm not 100% off the scalp, but it doesn't matter because the whole thing's not done. So when I go back in, I'll put the lightener on the roots. Okay, so keep a towel handy with you guys when you guys do this, because you're definitely going to get bleach. Place it first. All right, now you go back. So you see how light that is? That's what we're looking for. That is the lightness that's going to go gray. Go silver. It will not be silver if it's any darker than this. Okay. So with bleach, you do have to move pretty fast. You see, that's stretching. You see how that part right there is not as light? That's what you stretch it for. Just to make sure that you get everything as light as possible. Everything. Okay? So by me taking these foils off for these sections, it's actually going to decrease the amount of heat that is put on these strands, so they won't keep lifting as high. They're going to lift, but it's not going to lift as high. And we don't want it to not lift. We do want the lift, even though she's pretty high, but we want to get her, she pretty much where she needs to be on this section. But like I said, you never really could trust bleach. You never really could trust it. So I've always heard a good thumb of rule. You see why I'm stretching? You see that? You see how that color? See that? See, that's where her ends were that had that color. But I couldn't put the bleach on there because then it would break off because it was lifted too high. So the bleach is pretty much going to eat that up because it's pretty much nothing there. But you know, whatever's under that color, which is going to be bleach. So we're going to foil that. We're going to foil that. If I feel like this hair is getting too light, I will, when I stretch this side, if I feel like it's getting too light, I'll put conditioner on it to stop the action. So we're going to go on this side. Once again, we're going to lift up, you see? So this is why we stretch. We stretch so we make sure that everything is even. And we're going to go through the first foil. And she is getting there. She's not as light as the other one just yet. Mind you, this was the second one that we did, okay? So, mind you, the first section, she has reached almost where I would like her to be. For the first section, and the second section is, shit, she's getting there too. I'm probably going to end up doing the roots on the back. She's more than ready right now. See, she's not ready. See that? She's not ready. So I'm gonna stretch her out. You see how I stretch? Stretch out, make sure that everything got the bleach on it. And then we're gonna foil her back up, because she's not ready. And one thing about doing platinum, especially working with silver, every strand has to be light enough. You cannot have strands that are not light enough. If you have strands that are not light enough, you will have splotchy ass silver, and there's nothing worse than spotty silver. I don't think she's ready yet, so I'm not going to unfoil her. So whatever to me is not ready stays foiled, and whatever is ready, on the verge of being ready, I take out of foils. And I simply do that because I don't want the hair to over-process. I definitely don't want breakage, and I definitely don't want it to be dry, and I definitely don't want it to look like a noodle. We do not want top ramen hair. So that's why I take the foils out if I think that the hair looks, you know, light enough. Like I said, I'm not 100% saying, oh, let's go rinse it, because I'm not rinsing anything, as you can see. I'm just stretching it, okay? I'm not going to stretch the sides just yet because I know for a fact they're not ready because I just got done applying those. But I'm going to stretch these last ones, and I'm going to go ahead and end this video and come back when I have her full bleach out, roots and everything, and she's almost ready to rinse. That's when I'll come back so you guys can see how light. Look at that. This is almost where we need to be. Almost. Okay? We still have spots that we're going to get rid of. And of course, like I said, we still have her roots. So she's not nowhere near done, but you can get a glimpse of what we're going for and how light she needs to be to get there. So, we'll go ahead and foil that. And then I'm going to stretch this one. And as you can see, you see that dark piece right there? Yep, that's where that blonde was a year ago. So now we're going to go ahead and pull this bleach down and go ahead and tackle that piece and let that lighten up. That's going to lighten up so easily because she already has bleach under her. Under that color, whatever that may be, brown, ash, whatever it may be, there's bleach under there. So it's not like her, like when I first did all her black, there's no bleach under her black. That was just natural color. So we're on our last one. And as you guys can see, her hair is lifting very, very beautifully. To be silver, the best thing to do is to have let your hair grown out for years. Because a lot of people put color in their hair, and then once you put color in your hair, you stain it. And it's just very, very hard to get all that color out to be silver. Okay? So we're gonna let this sit, and then I'm gonna come back to you guys when she has the color, the bleach on her roots. And we'll be back.